Welcome to There's No Place Like Home, the radio show coming to you on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. This program is presented to you as an opportunity to hear information that can help you fulfill the dream of owning your very own home. We also share information about upcoming special events and programs to help you enjoy the good life in Pinellas County, as well as other items of interest. The sponsor of this program is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, which offers the First-Time Home Buyers Program, your key to home ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. I'm Jane Merlin alongside Frank Bowman, your host for today's show. Frank, how are you today?
I'm doing very, very well, Jane. How are you this morning?
Doing great. You know, this is probably one of my top two favorite shows that we do.
And it's so in line with what the Housing Finance Authority is all about. It's a program that's going to provide even more assistance for folks who are interested in buying a house, learning how to do that and go about it in a relatively organized and relatively easy way. So
yeah, there's so much to know, so much to do. It sometimes seems like it might be overwhelming, but we're gonna make it easier for people this morning.
Today.
Yeah.
Well, today's topic is home buying process. It's one of the largest purchases you will ever make, and there's a lot to know about buying a home. There's a lot of great information ahead, so make sure to grab some pen and paper to take notes. We'll be joined in a moment by Carmen Lemberg. She's the program administrator with Pinellas County Community Development and the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County. But before we get into today's topic, Jane, I know you have a message from our sponsor, the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County.
I do. Thank you, Frank. And the Housing Finance Authority, or HFA, is offering its first-time homebuyer program for folks in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its Home Key First mortgage, which is a 30-year fixed rate. And if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, they can help you with that too with the Home Key Second mortgage. And again, that is available in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties. To get your key to homeownership, call 464-8210 or visit the website at pinellascounty.org/community/HFA. And to reach us for more information or comments about the show, call us at that same number, 464-8210, or email us at housingfinanceauthority@pinellascounty.org. And you can also catch past shows by logging on to the website, and you can even watch us on YouTube. Frank?
Thank you very much, Jane. Well, at this time, it's a pleasure to welcome Carmen Lemberg. She's the program administrator from Pinellas County Community Development and the Housing Finance Authority. Carmen has been with community development for 5 years now and has previous experience in the lending industry. She has been a loan originator, an underwriter, and a mortgage broker. Her knowledge and experience is very valuable to all of us. Welcome to There's No Place Like Home, Carmen.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is my most favorite place to be.
Well, we enjoy having you here. Carmen's a repeat guest, and she did a wonderful job, I think, on 2 previous occasions. So
she knows her stuff. That's why we keep having her back.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.
Well, welcome here. And Carmen, we're here today to talk about buying a home. And it really is probably the most important and most expensive purchase anyone's ever going to make. It can also be a confusing time with so much to consider and lots of details and paperwork. What is the first step for anyone listening who's thinking about buying a home?
I really think right now it's really important for people to sit down, really go through the benefits of owning a home versus renting, and make sure that they're really ready to take on this responsibility.
And taking on the responsibility, how do people know what that's going to entail?
Well, a part of that ties into our home buyer workshops, and that's why we have them, because by going through these home buyer workshops, it talks about budgeting, it talks about home repairs, it talks about the whole process you're going to go through when you're buying a home from start to finish with your realtor and your lender. And it really gives you a good insight about what you're going to be up against owning a home. A lot of people who haven't owned a home don't understand the work involved in maintaining the home, budgeting for all those maintenance items that come up. You can't just pick up the phone and call the landlord anymore and say, hello, something broke. You have to fix it. You're the landlord.
So the concept or the consideration of buying a home is more than just finding a home you can afford, seeing if you can get a mortgage. It's really taking a good hard look at what it means to be a homeowner.
Exactly.
And these homebuyer training workshops, we understand that the Pinellas Community Housing Foundation is now providing these directly to potential homebuyers?
Yes, we just started doing those recently. We've put together a really good interactive class. It's not just 8 hours of sitting there listening to somebody talk. You get to go through little exercises from A to Z, not only looking at your own budget, but also evaluating situations that other people have been in and seeing what the pitfalls were that they were up against, and evaluating what their credit situation were so they can learn to apply that to themselves and see what they need to change in order to get ready to buy their homes. It's really a great class.
And who's the primary instructor for this?
The primary instructor for this is Flo Harding. She's one of our other program administrators, and she has just really worked hard to put together an interesting class.
And not only is Flo making presentations here, but you invite special guests and people with special skills?
Oh, yes. A lot of times she'll have in lenders that can give people the exact process they're going to be going through from a lender perspective, talk about how they're going to be looking at their income, telling them what documentation they're going to be need. There's also a wonderful presentation by the Extension Center that deals with a greener aspect of living. They talk about energy efficiency, and they have a really nice kit they give to people that attend the class. I've been through their seminar myself and thoroughly enjoyed it.
That sounds terrific.
Yeah. What's the response been so far with the classes?
The response so far has been wonderful. We have everybody fill out a summary afterwards, and they have had nothing but compliments. They say they really have learned a lot and that they actually enjoyed the class.
And I wonder if some of those folks may have made the determination that they're not quite ready for homeownership yet. Maybe they've got to work on some issues.
I think some of them had, and one of the other things that Flo talks to people about is resources. If people realize that perhaps they might have too much debt or something, she gives them resources to go out to get some free counseling from some of the nonprofits in the community about getting your debt in order, getting your credit score back up where it needs to be. It's really wonderful.
And these classes are free?
They're free, not only through us, but also through many other agencies throughout the county, and we do post a calendar of all the classes on our website.
Very good. So people who are interested can go to the website, see what class is coming up. And as you mentioned, the classes are free, which is unbelievable. And I tell you, I wish that I would have had the opportunity to take a homebuyer class before I bought my first home, because like we said in the beginning, it's very scary, all the things that are part of that. And lending has really changed over the years, hasn't it?
Yes, it's really come a full cycle. Having been in the industry for so long, years and years ago, it was very strict, very high credit standards. There wasn't a lot of give and take in that. We went through a long period of where very relaxing, trying to get everybody into a home. And now after the market crash, we have gone back to that very strict lending and credit policies at the banks. And with all the new laws that went into effect just a few weeks ago, it's even more stricter, both on the lenders and the borrowers. So
somebody's taken a class, and we should also mention, too, I think they get a certificate, don't they, after they take the class?
Yes, and they need to hold on to that certificate. It's good for up to 12 months, and they need to present that when they go to get their loan.
Okay. So I've taken the class. What's my next step in this process?
Finding yourself a lender first. What you want to do is find a lender. And if you're going through our program, we have a list of our participating lenders, again, on our website, and their phone numbers. Or you can call that 464-8210, and they'll, refer you to a lender. That lender is then going to tell you how much of a home you can go shopping for. So then you'll know what price range you can look into, and then you're going to go find a realtor and tell the realtor, this is my price range and these are the amenities I'm looking for.
Well, just because that lender gives you a price, though, doesn't mean that that's the amount that you should be spending, right?
That's a very good point. people need to sit down and look at their budgets. And they need to decide what they are comfortable at, not just what the bank thinks they're comfortable at. I know when I went and bought my house, the bank said I could buy a house for a whole lot more of a house payment that I was willing to go for. And I set my limit a couple $100 a month less than that. And so I wouldn't go over that amount myself because I wasn't comfortable.
You have to think about things like eating out,
Exactly.
movies, vacations,
Yes.
all those things that, it's your quality of life and what you're comfortable, as you said, what are you willing to spend on a monthly basis?
That's correct. And plus, with taxes and insurance going up every year, you've got to leave yourself a little leeway in that payment for those increases.
That's true. You do. When you enter into a mortgage, you have a fixed monthly mortgage payment for your principal and interest. But those other escrow costs, as you said, the insurance and the taxes, they're variable over time, and you have to make sure that you have enough cushion in your budget.
Precisely.
Well, when you go to the lender and for them to tell you what kind of mortgage or what size mortgage you're qualifying for, what are some of the things the lender is looking at? What kind of information do you need, and how do they make that decision?
What I always tell people is when they get ready to talk to a lender to already have out and set aside 2 years of tax returns, including W-2s. Make sure the copy of your tax returns is signed. Have at least 2 months of current pay stubs and bank statements from all jobs and all accounts. And have that ready when you go in to talk to your lender, because they're going to be looking at your income. They're going to be looking at your employment history. So make sure you have a list of all your employer's current and previous phone numbers and addresses. They're going to be looking back for at least a minimum of 2 to 3 years on your employment history. They want to make sure you're a stable, person. And if you have all of that information up front, it makes the process go much better with the lender. And plus, the lender also then has a feeling that you're more engaged in the process. This is a process that you as the individual, you're the engineer of this train. You are driving this train at every step. And don't ever forget that. That is so important. So take charge. Make sure you're ready for it. And be prepared with questions. Don't always just grin and nod. If something doesn't make sense, ask the question. That's what your lender is there for. That's what your realtor is there for. That's what the title company is there for when you go to close. We deal with this every day, so it's commonplace, normal, ordinary to us. But the average person, like you say, this is something you only do a couple times in your lifetime. You're not going to have the familiarity that the professionals have. A lot of them actually enjoy when you ask questions, and they like teaching you and helping you through the process. So don't be embarrassed. Never, ever be embarrassed. It's you'll learn. You'll feel more comfortable with the process. And you'll also make sure that you never, ever get yourself into a situation that you're not comfortable with.
That's very well. We all, in all circumstances, should always ask questions and make sure we're understanding what's being told to us.
Exactly.
And this process is very, very complicated. Now, the HFA and our special mortgage programs, we have a select group of lenders.
Yes.
So if people call into your office and they get a reference to those lenders, that's a good way to find a lender. What are some other ways to pick out a lender?
I really strongly recommend that people talk to their coworkers, their friends, see who they use, both for lenders and realtors, if they liked them, if they didn't like them. But a lot of times, those are your best references. They'll tell you, I worked with so-and-so down at this bank, and they were great. They got me through the process. They helped me the whole step of the way. Same thing with realtors, working side by side with you to get you what you wanted, when you wanted, and helped you through the process.
Carmen, I know that credit is probably one of the most important considerations that the lender is looking at when they're meeting with you about your mortgage. Give us a little insight, if you will, about credit, how important that is. What does the credit score mean? What is that saying to the lender?
Credit score is so important right now. Right now, your minimum credit score required for most programs out there right now is a 640. In order to get the best interest rate and the best terms, you need to have a credit score of a 720. That's a very big spread. But the difference in that can mean 1 to 2 points difference in your interest rate in normal programs. In our program, once you qualify, you're going to get whatever the rate is for our program. Things that the lender is looking at on your credit, a lot of your score goes down because of revolving credit card debt. You should never, ever have your credit card charged at more than 50% of the available limit. So if you have a $1,000 limit, you should never go over $500 on that credit card. Always make all of your payments on time for everything, whether it's a loan, your rent, your utility bills, your cell phones. All of those things are recorded on your credit. Another change in the credit from years past is medical bills. It used to be that they did not ding you on your credit for medical bills. They now are looking at medical bills. So if you have a medical problem, make sure you deal with that doctor's office, that lab, that hospital. Make terms for repayment. Most of the time they will do it interest-free, but you have got to make that first step to be making payments so that it doesn't negatively impact your credit.
So I come in, I'm talking to the lender, and it looks like my credit score is not going to meet the test of me getting this particular loan. What do I do at that point? I really want a house. How can I make some corrections? What do I need to do to fix things?
Lucky for you, there is a lot of free debt management counselors out there that actually do debt management counseling for potential home buyers. Depending on the situation that you're in, it can take 6 months to a year to straighten out your credit. But again, these are free to you. They're through many nonprofits. The lenders usually will refer you directly to somebody to help you work on your credit in the hopes that once you get ready, you'll come on back and continue the process. But since it's free, you should take advantage of it. Go work with these people. They analyze your credit and your debt. They work with you to get everything paid back up to date and get you back on track.
You know, I think that's a really important point to reiterate, the fact that these programs that are available to help you repair your credit are free.
You know, that is what is so wonderful, is that there are so many nonprofits that are doing this for free, and they also provide the highest quality of service. Don't ever sign up for those ones that are, on the internet. You're getting all this email about, we'll take care of your bad credit for you. Don't pay. Those usually just mess you up and take your money. Do it for free and get it done by someone who's going to do it right.
And give you some good tools for the future to help keep you on track.
Exactly.
What about for those individuals who may just be starting out and don't have a well-established credit history?
There's a lot to do. I would first talk to the lender, see what the lender needs. Many times for people who are just starting out, they can do some alternative credit. For example, if you have rented and you have, say, a 12-month rental history, they'll use that. They'll go to other resources. Talk with your lender first. And sometimes, and this is so hard because I hate to recommend this to people, but it was recommended to me when I started out, and it still holds true. Get one small credit card. Use it and pay it off. Use it and pay it off. Show that you're responsible. Again, never charge it all the way up to the limit. Put, a couple, maybe $100 on it. Take 2 months to pay it off, so you can show you can pay it off in a timely manner. But that helps start your credit history. Your responsible credit use.
Keyword being responsible.
Exactly.
Yeah, to show that you can borrow money and repay it. That's obviously a very strong consideration for the bank. They want to see that you've paid your other bills because you're about to take on one of the largest bills you've ever had.
Exactly.
And so in the homebuyer training classes, do they also have a list of potential credit assistance organizations?
Yes, they do. They hand that out to people if you need it during the class so that you can contact them and do it. You can also go on to the HUD.gov site, and if you go under the tab Home Buying, they have credit counseling agencies on there, and this is HUD-approved credit counseling agency, so that's a very good resource.
That's great. Okay, you've gone to the class. You are interested, you think you qualify, you go to a lender. Lender says, yes, your credit is acceptable and we can loan you about this much money. Next step, sounds like, is finding a house. What's the importance of working with realtors, and how do you pick a good one?
It is extremely important that you work with a realtor. The realtor is the one who's going to be drawing up your legal contract to purchase the house. They are going to work also with your lender to make sure that the proper paperwork that your lender needs in order to complete your loan gets to them. They're going to work with you on several other aspects. The main thing is they're going to help you find that house. And again, talking to your friends, talking to your coworkers, you need to find a realtor that's going to work with you for what you want. I was an independent person, and I needed a realtor who understood my independence and could give me the tools that I wanted. They have websites out there that are basically the MLS that they will give you a password to. You just type in everything you want in a house. I want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a 2-car garage, and I want it only in these neighborhoods. And then when houses come up in those neighborhoods, they get emailed to you. You can look at them. I used to always drive by myself first, look at the outside, look at the neighborhood, see if I was interested, and then I would call the realtor. I'm very independent. Many people don't want that level of independence. They want the realtor to look for the house. They want the realtor to, come and get them and take them and show them the house. So you need to find a realtor that's going to work for you. And you also have to remember that if you start working with a realtor and you don't like the way that they're working with you, go find another realtor. Because it's so important to work with somebody that's going to work with the way that you want, not the way that they want.
Very good advice.
So much of this is about relationships.
It is.
Having a good relationship with the lender, a good relationship with the realtor. I mean, these things are, we're talking about serious monies that are going to be transacted. And so you need to be comfortable with the individuals that you're working with.
Yes.
So you found a house, you went to the bank, you got your mortgage, you're working with a lender, you found the house. Now what?
You start tearing your hair out. Now, I'm only kidding. But at this point, this now becomes probably the most stressful time for people. You're down to the wire. You've got your 45 days to close. The bank goes into hyper overdrive. They're redotting the I's, recrossing the T's. They are going to ask you for more pay stubs, more bank statements, more documentation than you ever thought you were going to have to tell anybody. Be prepared. They get personal. And give them everything they want as quickly as they want. If you're getting a gift from a family member, they're going to have them sign a gift letter. Everything that happens in your life becomes an open book. And just understand that. Be prepared for it. Don't be offended by it. But they are going to be asking you for all your personal information. And it's safe, it's secure. They're not going to be blabbing it out to the world, but provide it. The quicker you provide it to them, the quicker they can get your loan through what's called underwriting, where somebody looks at it and makes sure that the whole package is correct, from your credit, your application. They're going to verify your employment. They're going to look at the appraisal on the property. They're going to look at any inspection reports that were given, anything like that, and make sure that the whole package is creditworthy and ready to go and get you into closing. But that last 45 days is going to be so stressful on you because you're going to be in constant contact with people. And there's also a lot of contact you don't know about. The realtor is talking to the lender. They're all talking to the title company. They're all talking to the underwriter. And there's a bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes you don't know about, but it's happening. But when they get to the point where they need to pull you in for something, just be responsive and get it to them fast.
And one of the things I think you spoke about when you were here last time is in between that time when the bank says you qualify for this amount of mortgage and you're ready to buy a house, I guess one of the biggest pitfalls is you went out and bought a new car and had a $2,000 vacation on your credit card.
And changed jobs in the process. Those are all things to avoid. Once you start into this process, do not apply for any credit cards. Don't buy anything. Don't miss any payments. If you can avoid changing a job, that is the best. However, if the opportunity comes up and this is a better job, same field, take it. That looks fine on your credit. And you just have to write a letter of explanation to the lender saying, this job came up, it's in my same field, I am going to be making more money, it's a stable company, and that will be good. Mm-hmm. So if you get the opportunity to trade up, do that good, but don't just get mad at the boss and slam the door and leave, because they will re-verify your employment usually within 24 hours of closing the loan.
I have heard stories about folks who were so excited about being able to buy a house, they went out and bought other stuff and ended up
losing the house.
Home inspections, real quickly, they're highly recommended?
Yes.
Does the bank actually want to see a home inspection?
The banks, in most cases, do not require them. Some loan programs do require inspections, and your lender will tell you if the program you're in is one that does require an inspection. But what I always tell people is it's best for you to get one for your own peace of mind. Even as much as I have learned over the years, as many houses as I have bought, I ran into a situation when I first came down here where I looked at the house. I thought it was wonderful. Went ahead and had that home inspector come and look at it. He found some things that made me back out of the contract that I didn't see. They had been very well cosmetically covered up, and I didn't notice them, including cracks in the foundation. They had painted the soffits, and the soffits looked good. He reached up to touch it, and his finger went right through the rotted wood.
Oh, boy.
He got up on the roof. You know, for me sitting on the ground, it looked great to me, but he got up on the roof and said, oh, my gosh, the roof has to be replaced. It's done. I canceled the contract. And that was worth my $350. Because otherwise, and there was electrical problems too, which I never would have seen. So this little house that I thought looked so cute and wonderful was actually a nightmare in disguise.
This is, buyer beware, and these are also the professionals out there that you need to take advantage of helping guide you through this program.
That's why they're wonderful. And you know, another good thing I was going to tell you, a lot of sellers now are including a 1-year home warranty. And look for that in the contract, and maybe even ask for that if you don't see it. For instance, in my house, all the appliances were working when I went and looked at the house to buy it. When the owner left the house, she unplugged everything and turned everything off. When I plugged in the refrigerator, it blew up on me. Had the home warranty, I got a new refrigerator.
That's important. Well, unfortunately, this topic is always very interesting, and we're running very short of time. Quickly give us the contact information for where to get in touch with the classes again.
You can call 464-8210. You can also go on to the website, which is www.pinellascounty.org/community/HFA. On the left-hand navigation bar, you'll see for the home buyer. Click on that, and under that you'll see home buyer education classes, and it'll take you right to the listing of the classes for about a 3-month period for all of the nonprofits that are in the area.
Well, there's lots more information that we could share, but we are out of time, and we appreciate Carmen being here. A very big thanks to Carmen Lindberg, who's with Pinellas County Community Development and the HFA of Pinellas County. We'd also like to thank Pinellas County Communications Department and, of course, our friends at WRXB 1590 AM radio. Be sure to join us again next month for another informative discussion. I'm Frank Bowman.
And I'm Jane Merlin.
Thanks for tuning in, and remember,
There's no place like home.